Hello everyone, my name is Kurazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We are back in the world, and as you can see up here in the corner, it is September. Yes, I have spent a couple days in game tending to some chores. I've gathered some clay, I've tended the bees, I think I've shorn some of the cattails, and I also have spent the nights panning. And among other things, we now have windows for all of the first floor's gaping holes in the wall, except for these guys. And we also got a few other odds and ends. I actually have 3 more clear quartz here, and we sort of filled out this vessel over here. Got some more copper spearheads, and some flint, and some blue clay, some more copper nuggets, and so on. And then over here, we now have a quirky tavern tuning cylinder. Tuning cylinders are analogous to the records in the other block game, but we can't play them without a very rare and expensive item, so there isn't much we can do with it for now, but we'll hang on to it for later. I've also done some prep for some later episodes. Don't ask, I'm not going to tell. And I've been thinking that our house is feeling a bit, I don't know, unfinished maybe? Nah, let's just go farm. Okay, I'm just kidding, although we do need to farm today if we can. I am thinking the house is a little bit unfinished, and so I would like to start gathering materials to build it. Now, the materials that I want aren't available to us here, but full disclosure, as I mentioned before, I did select this world seed for the materials nearby, so I do have a vague idea of where to find them. If we bring open the map here, and we scoot our way south, we get down to about here, which is not quite where I think it is, because I don't see any. But in the test world I have just south of here, there should be some sand of a particular color that I would like. You see, I've been inspired by all the green here, and I was thinking that it might be nice to build with something also green. I want to head down that way, see if we can find something green to build with, and then gather up enough of it to bring back here to make it worth our while. To that end, we are going to need to go on a bit of an adventure and bring enough food with us. And so today is going to be a bit about how to properly prepare for longer adventures that you expect to be out for, several days. Now, we did kind of deal with this in the episode about bees, episode 6, but I wasn't expecting to be out that long, so I didn't prepare for it the way I normally would. So first things first is I want to bring some food, and so we're going to need to maybe work around this rift here and render a crime unto yon Bambi's mom. So, pardon me for a minute. Oh, my bee. It was Bambi's dad. Oh, perfect. Plenty of fat and everything. Lovely. So on our previous adventure, we had just kind of taken the things that we had at hand with us and went out with some planning, but not a whole lot. Since we might be away for an even longer period of time, depending on how tricky the terrain is and how quickly we can find what we're looking for, I want to go in prepared to sleep overnight, possibly, as well as to maybe need to cook while we're there, and bring along enough materials to do so. Now, with any luck, we won't actually need to cook while we're there, but I figure it's best to be prepared in case we do need to. We're going to start out here with a rather sumptuous meal of some red meat, and I'm feeling maybe onions. We'll take 6 of those. No, we'll just take 12 of these. Our vegetable satiation or nutrition is lacking, so let's just shore that up a little bit. And let's use our brand new kitchen here to both cook our meals and render our fat at the same time. It's twice the ASMR for the same amount of money. Actually, when they're synced like this, I don't like it very much. Now, while those are cooking, I want to prepare some things for our journey here. First, I'm going to leave at least 1 axe. I do need to bring along a bit of firewood, since we can't make a campfire without firewood. May as well do that. We should be able to find grass nearby, so I'm not worried about bringing grass. But we do need enough for a hay bed. Let's go ahead and do that. Make our bed. There we go. And then for cooking meals while we're there, rather than bringing several crocks, we're just going to bring the soup pot that we have. And we're going to bring along, say, maybe 1 full pot's worth of spelt grain and turnip. These are good for 16 and 88 days in our inventory. That is plenty of time. I don't expect to be out for more than 3 or 4 days at the very most. And like I said, hopefully we won't even need this, but better to have it and not need it than the opposite. And since we're going to be needing some shovels and we're kind of low on sticks in our inventory, I'm going to grab, I guess, just a few of these. It'll take like half a stack. We also have our handheld light. Keep that in our bar. We'll have our crude shield here as well. We'll even make room for the pot here. And get our shovel there. And maybe we'll go ahead and we'll make an extra shovel. Lastly, as you can see down here, we already have a reed basket on our backs, so that is already sorted. So we're going to have a pretty good handful of free slots for storing stuff. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 in our inventory, 12 when this breaks, and then we'll have 8 from the basket. And we now have our soup or our stew as well. Now, normally I would have come back here and checked on our fields, but we're still waiting for a few things to... Ooh, you know what? Actually, our flax is finished. So since this is the first day of September, this is going to be kind of the last day that we can really plant anything in a temperate zone. Now, I'm kind of leaning toward maybe doing some turnip and some rye. 16 days, 7 days, 16, 16, 24, nope, 9 and 14. And the reason I'm going for shorter growth times is that we don't have a lot of time before fall and winter really set in. And we already have, let's see, at midday, it is only 22.3 degrees Celsius. That is just ever so barely above room temperature. Even by mid-October, we can expect to see temperatures close to freezing, if not below freezing. I think we may have picked a little bit of a spot that's a bit colder than other places around here, because we had a particularly cool summer. I think we capped out at about 27 or 8 degrees Celsius. There we go. So N can be planted throughout here, no problem. Let's go ahead and we'll do half of this in turnip and half of this with rye. We do have a lot of spelt here, but still. But you know what? We actually have this section too. Let's also plant our last 4 turnip here, and we'll just split the difference and get rye in the rest of it. Okay, there we go. That way, we are going to be maximizing our farmland's utility for the rest of our first year, and we are pretty officially done planting anything, except maybe tree seeds, for the rest of the year. Now, seeing as we now have these very shiny copper spears, I think rather than bringing along our flint spear, we're going to bring along maybe 2 copper spears, just in case I want to throw one. And I also think it might be prudent of us to make our first ranged weapon that isn't a spear, which means we'll have to go collect it later. And I think I'm going to do that with a bit of maybe granite stones. And we're going to turn this into a sling. Now the sling is normally an exclusive craftable for the malefactor, but since we have that turned off, we can go ahead and make that with basically any pelt and 1 single coil of rope. And there we go, a sling with 300 durability. And seeing as it is already pretty late in the day, I think I'm going to stick around here for one more evening, do a couple chores, check the bees one last time before we go, and then in the morning, when we have fresh dawn light, we will set out. If you are playing by yourself, you may also want to just double check on when the next temporal storm is going to hit. Again, you can do that by typing in /next temp storm, hitting enter. We got about 4.5 days to the next storm. That means it might hit while we're out. So we'll just need to be prepared to maybe bunker down and build a little tiny storm shelter out there, and then hope for the best. I'm going to get to these chores, and I'll see you all in the morning. Well, everyone, good morning. Why am I running away from my home like this? Well, it certainly has nothing to do with the drifters and the boathorn following me. Now, we could have, and possibly should have, brought along just our one set of meals, rather than bringing along extra to cook, and we could have just lived off the land. That is a completely legitimate way of getting along in the wild. But I wanted to prepare for a longer stay out, so I went with this method instead. Now, we've been through here before several times. I think I'm going to just sort of wend my way through here, and I'll see you all when we're down in the chert area where we were digging through ruins and looking for bees last time. And I'll only bring you back if anything terrible and horrible happens, like, I don't know, a respawn due to bears. Okay, as you can see, we are here. I'm about to starve. Problem solved. I think the route I want to take will bring us actually out this way a little bit. I think this forest here is a bit thinner. We'll come through here. We'll head down here. Or you know what? Let's maybe just go through the way we've been a couple times, which is kind of along this edge here, where the mountain is, right where the bees are. It was reasonably thin there, and we haven't run into a lot of bears and boars and wolves that way, so that might be a reasonable way to go. But along the way, we're going to look for anything else interesting that we might come across that might be useful to us. We don't want to fill up too much on other goodies, but we might want to grab a little bit of food along the way. Poke our noses very briefly down giant pits. Maybe with a shield not in the way this time. Ew. Any flax, of course. Any more flax string we can get before winter is just added icing on the cake. Oh, geez. Looking out for boars as well. Oh, and these Liberty Caps. Watch out for these. Don't eat them. They will make your screen go very wibbly wobbly for a very long time. And so here we're crossing the field that I spent the day sort of exploring while I was waiting for the bees to propagate into their skep. And this here is a very suspiciously shaped circle. It's a little too perfect, which means if we dig down, we might find something interesting. Look at that, swavite impact rock. That means that this is a meteorite. We can't do much with this for now, but I think we're going to, here we go, mark it and move on. And we'll come back to that later when we are in the Iron Age. Yes, that is quite some time away. Never you fear, we will find it. And what have we here but some ruins next to a very large, unusually large maple tree. Now, I received a tip on, I think it was actually a channel comment, that the ruins that have some kind of dry stone listed in their construction are the ones that will have basements. So if you don't dig around and find some dry stone relatively quickly, then you shouldn't need to dig too much deeper, because only the dry stone containing ones have any kinds of interesting things underground. Well, this one's a bit special. It has a whole cave underground. That is not for us to explore today. Oh, here we have an ore vessel. I'll go ahead and break it. We got some black coal. Only 4 pieces, not a lot. And here we just have dirt, so I'm going to dig to the bottom of this and move on. Ah, and what have we here but something I've been hoping to find. No, not you. Not you, sheep. Go away. Yeah, shoo. We have here another pink apple tree. Go ahead and mark that. And I spy another fruit tree right here. This is a great find. We have a pear tree. Excellent. These trees are both still young, so they don't have many branches. So we'll come back next year when they have branches. In previous versions of the game, the fruit trees would always spawn without having been vernalized, meaning they hadn't effectively lived through a winter. In version 1.22, they now do spawn as if they had been vernalized, meaning that they will bear fruit if they are in a temperate zone and the right kind of tree. I spy something poking up over yonder. Let's go see what that is. Oh, and I see something else. That big tree there, do you see it? There's something hanging off it, and I think I know what it is. I've seen these. Oh, is this really? Okay. This is cool. Yes, okay. We won't explore this today. We don't have the don't have the resources nor the preparedness for it right now. But this is one of the new ruins, like the sort of dungeons you can explore in the vanilla game. How do we get in there? Is it up top? No, might require digging into it to get in. Let's find out. It has dry stone, which we can't break with our bare hands. Dry stone's in a funny place. So here we go. We have some rubble here. Oh boy. This is also dry stone. So we can't even get into this until we have at least a copper pickaxe. Unless there's a hole in the ceiling we can exploit here. No, I don't think so. So it seems that this one at least is gated behind getting to copper, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and mark it. I've never done these before, so we're going to do maybe something like this gear. And we'll do dungeon. And we're going to make this gear purple. Now, this tree down here that I saw, yes, do you see that? That is somebody's house hanging off that tree. This tree is going to have a trader in it. Now, the tree traders, I don't believe, have homes that you can easily stay in overnight unless you want to just wait for time to pass. These guys usually, in my experience, have only had the fancy beds. Oh, this guy has a real bed. Wow. Hello, trader. He is a luxuries merchant. What's your name? Hello, guild. That is a very that is a very apt name for a luxuries merchant. Okay. So same kind of stuff we can buy back home, and this guy's stock will also rotate just the same as the guy back home will. So if we are looking for something that these guys can sell and our guy back home doesn't have it, we could come here to guild. Well, guild, great to meet you. I'm going to be off. Now, I believe we're about here. Aha, here we go, yes. See this sort of tan, gray, kind of slightly greenish stuff? Why, yes, that is, my friends, some sand. There's also some forest in here in our sand. Let's go see if we can wend our way through this kind of scrubland without getting our teeth pushed in. We got some mushrooms that are kind of dicey to collect, so we're not going to bother. If we chase the chickens ahead of us, they might at least draw any attention that we might otherwise draw. Alright. Ooh, and we have here... Oh, just granite. I'm going to, while we're here, wall this off a little bit, just so things don't come crawling out at us. Okay, it is getting toward night, but it is quite calm out. So I think what we're going to do is get right to it after a bit of a snack. So, if it isn't clear why we're here yet, that is to say, for the green-colored sand, we are in an area where the surface is peridotite, or technically the real term is peridotite, but I find it a bit of a tongue twister, and we already have a bit of lore in calling it peridotite. Let's have another fruit tree over there. I'm going to go mark that guy. A pear tree. Very nice. And the reason I want this sand is to make wattle and daub. Now, we've made wattle before. We have plenty of wattle fences, just like this, and plenty of wattle gates. What we haven't touched on is the fact that you can turn these wattle fences into different colored kinds of walls that look kind of like plaster or stucco. They come in 3 different flavors. There's like a barely attached wattle. There's a somewhat complete wattle, or daub. And there's a complete wattle and daub. And these are made by taking clay and sand and grass to make your daub. Let's go ahead and find some daub. Here we go, green daub. Requires any kind of clay. This will cycle through to red clay eventually. Any kind of soil, some grass, and some peridotite sand. Now, That means that each block of sand is only going to make 1 block worth of raw daub, assuming that we're going to parge over all of the wattle to make the fully daubed up block. We probably won't do that for every block, but I'd say for the majority of them, sure. Now I want the second floor of our house to be primarily daub, primarily green daub, if you couldn't tell already. And so we're going to need quite a hefty amount of sand to make that much daub. Let's get digging. And you will find as fall draws near that the days start getting shorter and shorter. And indeed, it is just past 7:30, and where in July and June it was still reasonably bright and the sun was just above the horizon, now it is not. You'll also find that the colors start changing from bright greens to oranges and yellows and reds. Okay, I'm going to get up to our little hidey hole I plopped down here a second ago. We're going to seal ourselves in, like so, because I saw a bear bopping around over in yon forest. So I'm going to hop into bed, and we're going to get started reasonably early in the morning. Alright folks, it is sort of morning. It is, however, quite riftly. There was a rift I saw right over there. Yep, spawning friends for us to go meet. Lovely. Love to see that. I've been in here looking at the map for a few minutes, spotting things like peat right here and some more red clay. Red clay is very, very common in general. I also spotted these here, and we'll go take a look at those, as well as this, which is probably a trader. Then we have a gathering of most likely ruined buildings up here. And then there's this. Now, I think I know what this is, but I'll withhold judgment until we get there. But it might be a very nice and quite rare find for version 1.22. I'm just going to wait till it's a little bit lighter out and we don't have to worry so much about rifts spawning enemies right in front of us. Yeah, I think it's relatively safe, bears notwithstanding. We're going to go see what that big old red and blue splotch is on the ground. Now again, if you're playing with the parchment style map on, these will be much harder to spot, and you'd probably need to either look more for the shapes of the features, if they're even there, or stumble across them. But this right here is a thermal pool. You don't want to go in. As you can see, it's very steamy. And the gravel here, you see it says sludgy at 65 and 74 degrees. Is actually the Celsius temperature, so it's quite hot. And I'm kind of surprised it doesn't burn our feet. But it will burn us if we jump in there, so let's not do that. There is, however, a little ruin right here that I had not spotted on the map. Oh, with some stuff to explore. We got a cobweb that I don't really want. They're okay for decoration. What have we got here, though? Anything cool? A collapsed chest with nothing in it. Okay. Lovely. Just lovely. Okay. Well, I'll take my consolation prize then. 1 block of bony soil. Such treasure. Alright, so let's be off to the ruins up here that were by the rift. That rift might still be there, but since it is now bright enough outside, it shouldn't be spawning enemies anymore. Alright, and what have we here? We have a tool vessel. Again, gotta be kind of careful with these. We got a fresh shovel and a flint knife. I don't need the knife, but I will take the shovel. Just gonna pop the knife on the ground over yonder. A seed vessel. Ooh. What did we get from this one? Rye seeds. I'm gonna dig around here, and I will give a report on what else there is to find. Right, there is some kind of... Ooh, here we go. Now we're talking. We found the dry stone. We can't squeeze in here. Oh no. Well, yes we can. We can kind of dig around this way. I hope. Yep, here we go. This should let us in. And ooh, we have an aged torch holder. Oh, that's nice. We're going to take this. Now, there are 3 kinds of torch holders in the game. This is one of the 2 kinds you can find generated naturally in the world. And what it does is, well, it holds torches. If I put this down and I put a torch in it, it holds it. Importantly, this torch will now never go out unless I pick it up again. But it won't go out whether it gets rained on or whether from time. So this is a way to make your torches last forever. And these are one of the other early-ish game methods of making your torches or getting lighting going on in your world without having to constantly relight all your torches. All in all, that's a great find. I'm going to keep going. Okay, well I think that is that for this set of ruins. Let's move on to that strange pale colored of grass that I saw in the distance. But on the way, we spy another ruin. Don't mind if I do. Nothing here. And some more ruins. Look at that. And one over here, too. Wow. There's a whole village here. These guys were buried in peat. That is quite wild. Be careful with your torches around peat. Don't go setting things on fire if there's peat nearby. And that includes any pit kilns. Oh, here we go. A forage vessel. We got some reeds, just some cattails. Okay. I don't really need 39 cattails, although that's not bad. I'll keep them for now. We may have to downgrade them as we fill our pockets with sand. And then what is this? We have aged ashlar. Oh, and a trader. We'll have to go visit. Let's take a dig around here. I suspect there could be something interesting here. Sadly, I don't really have much use for all of this peat right now. It doesn't stack very high, and it would just clog our inventory. So we're just going to leave it here, sadly. And what is this? We have some very suspicious aged polished rock. Does this lead somewhere? Or is there perhaps something underneath this? It does indeed lead to something beneath it. Wow. We have a tool vessel with a copper scythe. A tool vessel with a bronze knife. It rhymes. Well, let's get rid of these flowers and this knife and these flowers and the axe. And here we go, bronze knife. There we go, copper scythe. I'll hang on to those. Those, once again, aren't too game-breaking. What a find. Alright, onward to the pale blue splotch. And yes, this is exactly what I thought it was. This is blue clay. Now, in versions 1. I believe 20 and earlier, perhaps 1.19 and earlier, blue clay and fire clay were actually both quite common. No more. Blue clay is now only found at just around sea level. Very, very much right around sea level. Also, possibly right around the meteorites right here. That's what I thought. Again, look for these perfect circles. Dig in the middle, and you're almost bound to find a meteorite. Now, blue clay can be used to make other colored ceramics, but right now, since we only have pit kilns, we'd only get like black ceramics out of it, which is neat, but not earth-shattering. But once we get to the Iron Age and we can make a beehive kiln, then we could potentially turn this into very interesting colors, some of which I already kind of would like to use in one of our later builds. So we're going to leave this here. I have it marked. We'll come by and get it later. Alright folks, I have done the inventory management of what us pros the business call throwing things out, and I've made room for plenty more sand, as well as some more shovels. I'm going to go ahead and dig out some more sand, starting with this old patch right here, and I'll see you all probably in the morning, after we wake up from hopefully sleeping through the night and not dying, in our little hidey hole here. Let's get to it. Well, good morning, everyone. As you can see, I'm not in our little hidey hole. No, in fact, I stopped by that trader we saw. I have made a new friend. Everybody, I want you to meet Bounder. Bounder is a clothing merchant. And they have all kinds of neat things over here, including some gamboized armor that we could make ourselves. And they're buying some very fancy clothes that we cannot make ourselves yet. Now, I do want to note that they are carrying these 3 head torches, or head lanterns. These are part of a mod called a wearable light. And the reason I have these on is that in prior versions of the game, you could carry a torch in your offhand and do many things that now require 2 hands. Needless to say, doing things like chiseling in the dark is kind of difficult when I'm trying to record for YouTube, so I have this mod on so that at some point we can make ourselves a wearable light, as per the name, and then I'll be able to do things that require both of my hands, while also letting you guys see, and without having to juggle a lantern or a light and moving it constantly, because that gets kind of onerous sometimes. That being said, it's a great mod. I do recommend it. Anyway, let's get out here. I did spy... Oh, your place is not safe, buddy. Your place is not safe. I did spy on the map right over here yet one more ruined village. I think that one's worth a look, as well as this fruit tree right here. I can tell by the color on the map here. So let's go take a peek at that, and then I think it's going to be time for us to head home. I do have 1, 2, 3 stacks of peridotite sand in my inventory, and I think I have, what, 3 or 4 more here? Oh, that's right, we're inside Bounder's territory. There we go. We have, oh, we don't have quite a 6th stack. I will remedy that momentarily. And we'll be on our way over to that village. Wow, what a view. We have more ruins there. I think we'll leave that ruin. I want to go to these guys here. Because villages, oops, tend to have a bit more interesting loot in them than single ruins do. And the nice thing about the map in Vintage Story is that no matter where you go, you find some place new, you can then check the map and look for the next new place to go see. So now that we're over here, we've probably uncovered some more new area on the map. Of course, we haven't covered it. And there could be things over here like, say, a merchant right there. There's a trader right there. Some holes in the ground there. There could be crops to find, more ruins down here. Maybe a trader in a tree right there again. Let's go mark this fruit tree. It is a cherry tree, okay. And let's see what kinds of things we can find here in this ruin. We have a farming vessel. Oh, with more cabbage seeds, yes. We will be making room for those. And the feathers, I think, for now. There isn't a ton of feathers, but that's okay. And we have here a food vessel. I don't really care about those. They just carry grain in them. And we are flush with grain. Ooh, lots of bony soil. That's good for us, bad for them. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. There'll be bodies here. Oh, yikes. Well, that's unfortunate. Again, for them. For us, this just means treasure. We're going to go through all their stuff. I am a professional grave robber, apparently. We're going to comb through their, well, what remains of their pockets. Pardon me, don't mind me disturbing the bones of the dead. I have 0 scruples, so watch out. Now we could, I believe, pick up these skeletons and bring them with us. And then use them to decorate our own ossuary. And maybe I will come back. I'm going to put a little skull here. Here we go. Mass grave. Yikes. There we go. Got more bony soil here. Anything exciting underneath it? Oh, we have some dry stone. What's this? A trap door? Can we take that? Oh, there's a cluttered scroll rack. A bloomery base. Wow, this this one, and a forge. Empty trunk. Why have we found so many empty chests lately? Oh man, I do wonder, can we take this with us, or is it going to break? Wow, okay, so this is actually not stupendous because it's a graded trapdoor, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. The bloomery base is also something of interest to me. It might drop as several bricks, though. Yeah, it drops as bricks. That's less exciting. 4 fire clay bricks. You know what? I will take that. Because that, if we find some more fire clay, which we can find in certain ruins vessels, that might let us make some nicer glass before the Copper Age. So, whoops, straight down our other pit. So I'll hang on to that, though. And I think we only have one more building to check out, or is it 2? Ah, this one as well, okay. Another tool vessel, yet again. What have we here? An axe and... not sure what this is. Axe. And a shovel. I'll take it. Okay, well that had walls that went deep, but nothing else. So, I'm going to have a bit of a meal here, and we are down to the last meal in our pot. Go ahead and eat that. I don't think we'll need to make more food. I'll probably just scavenge along the way home. But I think given that we have a very full inventory and lots of cool stuff, I think it is time for us to book it home. And I'm kind of wondering, let's get away from that hole in the ground before we stop and think too long. Oh, and don't eat these either. Fool's cone cap. Bad news. But let's look at the map. And as you can see, we're now pretty much directly south of spawn and the Chert Desert here. So I was thinking maybe we should, rather than going back the way we came, what if we try to go through the desert here and see if there's anything else interesting we can find. It does run us the risk of maybe running into terrain that is difficult to maneuver around, but I'm sure we can figure that out. Also, is this another dungeon? I think it is. Seriously? Wow. Okay. That's neat. Okay. Awesome. I'll mark it. We'll come back later. And off we go. We'll dip briefly into this sort of scrubby area here. I don't like it too much. Again, this can be prime wolf and bear territory. Oh, and there's water. Don't want to get stuck in the water. And it is often beneficial when you are heading home to see if you can take an alternate route and uncover more terrain, more places of interest, more resources. So I think this should serve us well, provided there aren't any impassable mountains between us and home. We have some terrain that looks like it might be difficult but not impossible to maneuver through. Maybe even use part of our stack of dirt to make a way up. A little parkour never hurt no one. No legs ever broke from parkour, right guys? There we go, we're up here now. Beautiful terrain. Awful for navigation. Oh, scrubby desert. Oh, scrubby, very rocky desert. I dub thee Scrublandia. It's official. I'll come plant a flag later. And that's pretty cool. So this is chalk rock up ahead. We have lots of interesting layers here. We've got the slate, we got the granite underneath, we got chalk, chert, and limestone all in one place. That is really nice. Now I believe we're coming up on where we actually spawned originally. Starting to look familiar to me here. I think we spawned right up on this ridge up here, I'm pretty sure. Yep, this is spawn. Out. And just as it hurt being born here, it hurt to come back here, I guess. Well, let's hurry our way down. We don't have a lot of time to waste. Alright, folks, we are in very familiar territory now. I think we can say we've made it safe and relatively sound. So I will see all of you when we're at home and ready to go over what we've acquired, as well as what I'm going to do to prepare for the next episode. Because I want to build, and although we now have plenty of sand for making the daub for our wattle, there are some other materials I want to build with that we don't have enough of yet. So I think what I'll be doing is I'll spend some time between episodes gathering those supplies. Alright folks, we are back home, and I have taken the grain and turnips we brought with us, and I'm putting them to use right now in a meal, as you can hear coming from upstairs. But let's take a look at our spoils. Now I already put away the cattails up here. We got 39 of those. And we have here our scythe. It's a copper scythe and a tin bronze knife. The knife is basically just a triple durability flint knife with a bone handle. It's not otherwise exceptional. It does, I guess, more damage if you happen to be a knife fighting bears. But I can't imagine anyone who would do anything crazy like that. The scythe, however, is kind of a nice little upgrade. It's specifically used for harvesting grass and crops. As you can see, it's also made of copper, but it has the same durability as the bronze knife. And it also lets you harvest grass and crops in a roughly 2x3 area. It's basically 6 crops that are contiguously connected. It tries to do a 2x3 rectangle, but if there are funny shapes near crops due to water holes, then it will try to grab other nearby ones. In our basket, we have 3 stacks of peridotite sand, as well as 3 more in the clay vessel here. We got some flax, some black coal, some aged polished rock, which is kind of unique. I might use this for like thresholds for our house, maybe replace those weird reed mats we have. Got some dirt. We got 4 fire clay bricks. We need 8 more to do anything really useful with it, and we haven't found any other fire clay yet, so this might just sit here for a long time. We got 3 more cabbage seeds, an aged torch holder. We got the aged oak grated trapdoor. I got some peridotite stones for maybe making some bits and pieces of cobblestone to patch things up. And we got 35 more bony soil, which I will also probably spend the nights panning in between now and next time we meet. Let's go put our aged torch holder down. I'm thinking an ideal place, if I can get up the ladder here, would actually be in the kitchen. Maybe something like not above the peat, maybe like right here, where it can go next to the fireplace here. Oops, not sure what happened there. And that will also let us move this lantern somewhere else. I don't know where yet. In fact, I kind of like the ambiance of the house like this, although I think this corner would still be a little bit dim. So we'll just pop that right there. And now our house is extra well lit. And I just realized that we made this ranged weapon, this sling, but I never showed you how to use it. I do find it fortunate that we didn't have to use it, but it didn't give us much of a chance to explore this thing just yet. Now this works just like a thrown spear. In fact, all ranged weapons function like thrown spears, where you can right-click them. You'll get a little reticle that cinches down to a tighter targeting square. And the sling you'll sort of see zipping by here on the right side of the screen. That is us getting ready to sling a stone. And then to throw it, all you have to do is, of course, release the right click, and you will sling your stone. You'll see that the stones fly a lot faster than spears do, which makes them much more useful for targeting fast-moving enemies or creatures, as well as for hitting things that are farther away that require accuracy. Now, when you sling a stone, it will break. You will not get the stone back. Unlike when you throw a stone, which you can also do. You can throw stones and even bricks. If you throw a stone, they will break sometimes. There we go. That one didn't break. You cannot pick it up. If you're a hunter and you have a bow, then your bow will work much the same way as the sling, minus, of course, the animation. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. I hope you enjoyed adventuring with me and learned a few things about how to go exploring. Even though we didn't end up having to use our extra food, it was quite down to the wire. In the next episode, I want to build most of our house. I think what I want to do is we're going to build the main structure all the way down to the ground, as well as the first and second floors and a very fine roof. I do want to build a larger structure around the house that is sort of like a raised yard with other kinds of amenities and just having a larger perimeter barrier between us and the silliness of the outside world. That may or may not happen in the next episode. We'll have to see how the resource gathering goes, as well as how long it takes to actually build the house. The names scrolling by belong to the awesome people who have supported the channel by joining as members. If you too would like to see your name in the credits, get access to videos early, or even hear me butcher your name in the next section, then check out what's on tap over at the channel memberships. The following folks have gone the extra mile to support the channel by signing on at the Seraph tier. Their names are Elizabeth Woolley, Inger Raymond, Joshua Saruta, Linda Harris, Lucky's Mom, Mad Lord Hubris, Oak Tree, Servus, Smiley Builds, Snow Silver, Sue Wallace, Tyluna, and Wade Parker. As always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.